I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So, here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So, take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true for the most part. Today's episode is brought to you by Scars and Stripes Coffee. Reynolds Revival has teamed up with Scars and Stripes to put some of the finest coffee in your cup. The highest quality beans are sold by the highest quality people and roasted right here in the USA. So go to www.ss.coffee/REYNOLDS to find out more about the best coffee you're ever going to drink and to purchase cups, shirts, and of course, Scars and Stripes Coffee. That's www.ss.coffee/REYNOLDS or follow the handy link that you'll find in the description. Today's episode, I'm drinking out of a Arizona State travel mug. Yeah, this is not travel, but it's the mug that you buy at any of the truck stops. That's their tourist trap mug. But it's a beautiful mug, and it works very good getting your yummy coffee into your mouth. Now, episode 23. The show must go on. Living and going to school in Ada, Oklahoma was fun, exciting, and often painful. One of the joys of my life at this time was being in the theater department. The theater department of East Central University. I feel like I spent more time at the theater department than I did at my own apartment. Okay, I never got my mail delivered there, but I did keep a stash of beer in the back of the shop for emergencies, like late nights or weekends. Many fine performances were created in those halls. One that stands out was The Sound of Music. Now, several things happened that semester that all collected and ended up impacting during the performance of that musical. Early that semester, the East Central University Board decided to finally upgrade the dimmer system for the main stage. And when I say upgrade, it was huge. The semester before, the dimmers were the same system that the stage was originally built with. So imagine a great wall of lockers, big metal lockers with big handles that moved up and down. And to dim the lights, you and your army of friends would all grab handles and then either on cue push them up to whatever setting they were supposed to be or bring them down to whatever set they're supposed to be. And that would change the lights on the set. But by 1984-ish, computerized dimmer systems were starting to be everywhere. And finally, it was included in the sound and light booth at the Dorothy Summers Memorial Theater at East Central University. Now, because of the cost, we needed a show to really bring in some bucks. And now, to do this, any good school theater knows that it is time to dust off one of those old warhorse musicals. Yes, an oldie and a goodie that will bring in the oldie and the goodie stable community. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones with money. To the rescue, we brought out The Sound of Music. It's a great story with a large cast and music people love. Oh, and what part could a multifaceted and highly talented Bob play? Well, that would be the lighting director. Yeah. Good old Bob was the only person that was fully trained on the new lighting board. So Bob and his entire crew of 0 had to set the lights, design the plot, program the computer, and run the show from up in the light booth. And for that big competition scene at the end, I also had to run the follow spot. Now, it pulled me thin, but Bob's are always up to the task. As the weeks of construction and rehearsal rolled on, Bob was out rewiring lights, figuring out the new max loads on the new dimmers, and making sure that the wiring, the old wiring, was strong enough to hold the new power loads. As far as the play goes, it was a lonely time for Bob, but I understood it was a large cast. And first semester, we didn't have a lot of people to choose from. It didn't leave a lot of people as the help. Well, the week before performance comes. The set is up. My lights are running about 95%. I mean, they're real close. So every night we do a run through of the entire show, and I can figure out 1 or 2 more little tweaks to fix in that lighting program. By the day of the dress rehearsal, I had tightened my ship pretty nice. When you program a light plot, it changes how the show actually runs for you. The pre-show lights are your first setup. And from there, all you do is wait for the light cue to be called by the stage manager, and then you just push the next button. Coming into tonight's final dress rehearsal, I'm golden. So I'm going to have a big soda and some snacks, and in my semi-comfy chair, I'm going to be set pretty nice. I'm going to be ready. So I show up to the theater about 5 p.m. and I walk out onto the stage to a very upset stage manager. See, 2 of the stage hands called in and said, well, they're just not going to do this anymore, and they quit. Did I say 2 of the stage hands? I actually meant to say all the stage hands, because we only had 2. Well, to put on a big production like The Sound of Music, we ended up getting all the theater majors and minors to help. And I guess, well, they just didn't have all the drive to continue if they weren't an actual theater major. So these extra people that were in there just weren't that excited. So 2 hours from curtain for the final dress, we have no stage hands, no one to help move the sets, and we have a live audience coming in. We often let all the anybody who wanted to come in from the nursing homes, and they could bring their tenants for a free show. It wasn't going to be a packed house, but we filled up the first 20 or 30 rows. I mean, there was a decent show. Now, look, most of us at this point in our lives have been in play since junior high. So we're all ready. We're not in a panic. We're going to jump in and get this job done. So curtain time arrives, and Bob is in the light booth waiting on cue calls. And the show begins. Now the first scene change comes early. And when it happens, I hit the next button and I take off running. I get to the backstage, or to get to the backstage from the lighting booth, which is up in the balcony. What I have to do is exit the lighting booth and then exit the balcony. Then I have to run down 3 flights of stairs to the basement. From the basement, I run through what we call the dungeon. It's where we build all the sets. But the dungeon sits directly underneath the auditorium. In the back of the dungeon is a short staircase. It's 1.5 flights up to the backstage area. Now, once I arrive, I grab some scenery and I get it on the stage. Then I check in with the props master and help them finish setting the stage. When that is close to being done, and we're talking not a lot of times going on here, maybe a minute for a scene change. That's really, you don't want to make them any longer than that. So when we're starting to get close to being done, I turn and take off down that half staircase, or 1.5 staircases, the short staircase. I run through the dungeon, back up 3 flights of stairs to the balcony, back into the sound and light booth. I throw the headset back on and I say to the stage manager, I'm here. The stage manager says, go cue. And I hit the next button. Believe it or not, from the audience's point of view, this didn't seem like anything was wrong. It might have been a little slower than what we had been practicing, but it wasn't noticeable. Well, we passed the next few light cues, and then it's time for another scene change. I hit the next button and then take off. Go down those stairs to the dungeon, through the dungeon, up the short staircase to the backstage. I start helping the change, and when it's close, I take off, back down the short staircase, back through the dungeon, up 3 flights of stairs, back into the light booth, back with the headset. Here, go cue. Push the button. Now this repeats over and over for each scene change. And Bob's getting a little winded. We are finally get to the final big scene. This is our last big scene change. Now everyone knows this scene. It's where the Von Trapps sing as a family at the competition while they're trying to escape from the Nazis. On set is the stage for this competition. So it's actually a stage on our stage. I must make it down to the far side of the set and help set up the box seats, the ones where the Nazis are going to sit. And then I'll run back up that whole path again, get up into that light booth, and I'll run the follow spot for that scene. It's time. And I hear the cue. Scene change, light cue, go. Off with my headset. Out of the sound and light booth. Out of the balcony. Down the stairs, 3 steps. Through the dungeon. Up that small set of stairs. Backstage, I make my way around all the actors, the rest of the set that's getting moved around, and I get to the far side of the set, so I'm down with my buddy Shan. Now, Shan is playing one of the Nazis, and since he's in character, we don't want him out there actually setting things up, so I jump out on stage, and I'm going to set the box seats. So I'm downstage, stage right. That is, from the audience point of view, right there on the very front of the stage on the right side. Now that means that these particular seats will be quite close to the audience. So I grab the first chair and I go out and onto the stage, and it's an open stage, which means the curtains are open. You can see the scene changes happening. So I run out there, I take that first chair and I put it on its mark. And I turn, and here comes chair number 2. Shan has slid it from off stage right to me. Boom, I grab it, boom, it's on its mark. I turn and catch chair number 3 and put it on its mark. And then boom, here it is, as fast as you can think. Boom, chair number 4. We are moving quick. I throw chair number 4 on its mark. And I turn to catch the rail that's going to sit in front of these chairs to make it a box seat. I turn, and my buddy Shan has sent the rail sliding quite rapidly and early straight at me. And bam, it hits its mark, which unfortunately is where I'm standing, landing the corner of the rail right into my crotch. Down goes Bob, right on stage. Basically, Shan has sent a 4-foot-long chunk of wood sliding at my testicles and taking out my ability to breathe and my capacity to stand and my willingness to live. I hit the floor. So I am laying downstage, right, trying to breathe, and I open my eyes. I'm laying on my side, holding my groin. And I look out, and I'm staring into the faces of our guest audience, all from the nursing home. And I stare directly into the eyes of this very nice lady who just came to see one of her favorite musicals. And I say the only thing that comes to my mind: my left nut. At this point, I guess Shan figures that I'm not going to stand up. So in his full Nazi dress uniform, my buddy, my friend Shan, walks out on stage, stiff, upright, looks down at me, reaches down, grabs my ankle, and drags me off the stage. The whole time, all I can say is, my left nut. My left nut. You know, from this point, I don't know who ran off stage and down the short staircase, or who ran through the dungeon and up the 3 flights of stairs, back into the balcony, back into the light and sound booth. I don't know who put on the headset. I don't know who said here, and I don't know who pushed the next button when the cue was called. And I sure don't know who worked the follow spot. But it was not me. After the curtain call, I was still laying on my side, holding my groin, saying, why? Why? Why my left nut? But it's a good lesson in how the show must go on. Till the next time.